Hi, and welcome to this episode. It's going to be article reading and a map showing. The article is titled A Framework of Multidimensional Context for Web App Security. Let's get into the map. So as you see here, we begin with secret layer introduction to the expanded explanation of multidimensionality. I'm going to bring in the so-called attuned learning diagram. This is in pink because this is significant. It's a advancement of previous work, and we're going to touch on the significance on the consensus of a realm. This is where Bitcoin is interrelated. Quite often you hear of people talking about Bitcoin in various dimensions, so it's important to know which dimension one is in. The expansion of the framework, the definitions of the headings, right? We get back into realm, sphere, dimension, and point, and how the distance between one sphere, which is one's personal development, the level to which one works on that in relation to the realm, which is the world we live in, has a significant impact on the ability to work with dimensions and points, which bring about layers of knowledge. And the multidimensionality of web apps, this is where recon takes place, so basically the ability to specialize and work within that domain is all related to this personal development. And then the contemplation of this progress and the professional conclusions that I draw out from all this as a part of the article reading. And how about we just get started? So here's the article, and I'm excited about it because it was the first time that I had provided the new expanded diagram, which we'll get into in a moment. In one of my previous articles, Multidimensional Security Mapping of Websites, I began writing about an abstract way of envisioning the structure of the functioning aspects of possible human intelligence based on my experience as it may relate to fields of research in cybersecurity. I'm specifically curious about its practice in web application security and the testing there because of the emergence of artificial general intelligence and the lack of security in the promises of cybersecurity risk insurance policies. However, this article is merely a visualization of the concept with an expanded explanation. So, attuned learning. Well, the current state of this concept is reimagined below with the title Attuned Learning. I call it as such because I had a realization come to me as I was sketching this, as usually happens, and this is a primary reason to create such maps, that this is the observation of my functioning when I am attuned and in a state of reception, which includes an openness and allowance of a state of convergence within me, having resonated with the point of attention in order to observe what is new and exciting. Yet first, I may benefit from being attuned, which is basically a way of remembering myself. So this diagram I have shown already on paper, and this is a scanned version. As you see here, the realm, the sphere within it, the dimension within it is just these lines surrounding a point. This is basically a diagram of a living entity, a person. It's just a simplified visualization of certain significant aspects of a person, placing attention on a point, and then receiving information and resonating with it to the point that it creates a sense of abstract knowing and therefore knowledge. So, as I've explained in different ways, the level is the distance, as you can see here, between the sphere and the realm. If the sphere is the extent to which I allow myself to experience life, and as it approaches life itself, so if I'm not interested in life and sit at home and watch the potato chips as the TV plays, so to speak, I might not have any interest or development, and this level might be a great distance from the realm. Whereas if someone is interested in maturity and development, this level might be very close to the realm itself. However, I would maintain that the realm is boundaryless and infinite. So this isn't about intellectual mental knowledge and theoretical abstract meanderings about reality or the world. This is about the depth at which one lives. Within that, then, you begin to have a sense of dimensions or dimensionality. It's a state of perception, perhaps, of what encircles or contains one's attention. So if this is all one person, one being, an entity, then when you have two entities, you may still be of the same realm as people are of this world, on this planet. But everyone's sphere is theirs, and everyone has a different level, and therefore everyone has dimensions within. And so in order to communicate, as I'll be developing further on, we have to overlap the dimensions. Otherwise there is no actual communication happening then, because the point of attention is different. Okay, so let's continue for now. The whole point here is to bring this forward. So, when spirituality is defined as the extent to which one allows oneself to experience, this image shows the foundations of the abstract theoretical functioning of humans who may have more objective experiential wisdom and actual direct knowledge of something of interest to those seeking to find an understanding of how to treasure the confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility of their valuables. That is the CIA triad in security. I have certified foundational training in both altered states and the possibility of journeying in and out of these altered states. I have also found certain publicly available psychoactive elements to be of inductive fueling guidance on rare occasion. When the aim is attuned learning, it is a journey into the state of receptivity, not necessarily a final destination, nor a spiritual guidance or daily operations. I'm learning that everyone is neuroatypical to some extent. Nevertheless, I succeed in a sojourn of this kind of learning only occasionally. It has provided for a certain depth in life, which makes me wonder if I'm supposed to share this to help others who may have a need to know, and if I should do this more often, since I am able to. I thought it might be humorous at this point to mention that this mapping could also be titled How to Blow Your Mind, or Spiritual Neurotypical Diversity Explained, or What I Thought Everyone Sees, or Now I Get It, Why So Many People Are Certain, and Aha, It's Only Me Who Sees This, etc. It's an introductory mapping of my own journeys and experiential capabilities. This is significant because I see that the risks, likelihoods, and impacts of the threats to the internet of contemporary civilized societies are about to be radically transformed at an alarming rate. If security professionals in all disciplines working for the right aims continue to have misunderstandings about the realm we live in as human beings, then that might induce our peril simply because we failed to have a consensus on reality. Framework expansion. Today, I am expanding on this framework because it is something of increasing significance. I find myself referring to this concept of multidimensionality more often now due to the increasing misunderstandings between people, especially in the business of information security, and within that cybersecurity, and within that web application security testing, etc. This framework shows why not all opinions are equal. It also displays why, with any significant question, such as the general security of a website, and all the way to an audit of the knowledge base of electricity, it is beneficial to consider the dimensions of more developed spheres. What is an opinion, and what is a developed sphere? Let's begin with the fact that there is a certain time frame, an opening in time, during which it is still possible to purchase cybersecurity risk insurance before general or artificial general intelligence. This framework may increase the chances of more attuned InfoSec professionals to gain insight into the nature of human beings who can provide valuable new information about the nature of holistic intelligence and also counterintelligence, as with the severest cases of covert, rogue, malicious, destructive entities such as nefarious lurking psychopaths of war. Definitions of headings. I will be explaining and expanding on these over time. The following is my initial wording which I am presenting in order for new formulations to come to me later. So I have a certain list here. It's not meant to be read as if it was paragraphed text. So for the realm, and let me show this diagram here again for a moment. So if we have the realm here, I'll keep this map up and I'll bring the article there as well, just behind it for a moment. So the realm, allness in human spiritual life, metaphysical wisdom, perhaps boundarylessness. It enables one to experience directly the spheres, dimensions, and points. It's a higher level of depth of holistic intelligence, aptitude of abstraction and knowledge. Includes at least knowledge of other realms beyond human, if not experience in them. Moreover, a realm can be the human contemporary civilian matrix in which known textbook science rules. This is used everywhere on the planet, and it is rarely questioned by the average person. Another realm can be that of an atom, an animal, a plant, a rock, and so on. The spirit of the wind, a planet, but also that of galactic beings. These can overlap any parts of the human realm. Let me just, I can switch between these two here, and I'm going to just move to the article. So next we have the sphere. Okay. So for the sphere here, one's life inside of a paradigm matrix. Resonance capacity. The sphere is the experiential distance to the mastery of the realm. That's what I meant by level here with the arrow. To read the description of when a sphere equals to the realm, please see The Art of Living. The boundary of one's sphere, as you can see with these lines here, is used in attending to a point, experiential visible realm, or I would say perceptive realm, cognitive realm, emotional realm, instinctive realm, and so on. And this is the level, the depth of holistic intelligence that is the simultaneous depth of new original abstract information that is received when attuned. So, that is how everything depends on one's sphere. Again, I'll just read that a little faster. The boundary of one's sphere is used in attending to a point and is the level. It's the depth of holistic intelligence that is the simultaneous depth of new original abstract information received if attuned. I'm showing this visually here to those tuned into the video. New information is received as layers of a point. the abstract knowing. One can move between layers by tuning and detuning to one's minimum and maximum. Right, so by moving in one's level. So with certain experience you can, for example, if you're speaking to someone who's not developed, or if you're speaking to someone who's more developed, you may decide to spend some time in tuning yourself to that and diminishing or increasing your sphere as needed. So I don't just communicate with people who are more developed than I am. In fact, yeah, I mean, I communicate, and I know I'm around people of various depths at all times. So I do adjust the levels based on what I'm doing with others. If I'm by myself, I also don't necessarily stay at peak sphere level in relation to the realm. That would be, I call it the meditating hermit in the cave, on the ninth cloud there. That is not my my aim in this life, or right now, to be doing that. Okay. Next here, dimensions. So, as you can see, I have a list here, and as I've done with the realm and the sphere, now in the dimension. So, another dimension, or it's another perspective on the paradigm, right? So this is a perspective on the paradigm of the sphere of society. In worst cases, our sphere is made of one dimension. That dimension should cover all points in one's life at that point. Some dimensions do not cover the point. Right, so if the raw datum of the realm or reality is not within reach of your dimension sphere, so it's something of attention out here, or rather in here, well, then your dimensionality does not cover the point, and perhaps one might choose at that point to expand their experience to include such a point, if it is available through some schooling, for example. Next, some dimensions include the point by overlapping on it, but differ on some other aspects. All right, so you can have multiple dimensions in your sphere, your own dimensions. When another being comes into communication with you, their dimensions may overlap, and in order to communicate, they have to, your dimension and their dimension or dimensions have to overlap on top of the point, or have to include the point spherically, I would say. Right, and now the point itself. So it's the raw datum under attention, sensory meditation. A point can be in another dimension, in another sphere. Right, so a point can be actually anywhere. And we're not necessarily talking about a dot or a point. It's where your attention is, where my attention is, right? So if it's nowhere, or I don't know where it is, that's a whole other mystery article. All right, continuing though, right now we're in security operations and multidimensionality of web applications here, so we're going to get into how that relates, and it should. So websites on ClearNet and the Darknet can be found within one sphere, in all their dimensions. If one understands this threat to the sphere itself, which can be a rogue, misaligned, artificial general intelligence, then one can deduce that all websites are vulnerable, and the impact to critical systems of a nation could be instantaneously severe. Contemplations of progress. So the next three images here are just representations of my notes as I was making these articles and this particular article. So in order to display the progression in the contemplation of the presentation, I include the photographs of the previous draft versions of the mapping of multidimensionality. So here's version 2, and this was version 1. So I'm showing some pretty wild images of my sketches here with some stickies that you can see in the online article with its visuals. Right, the original quote is here that I had placed in the original article in another podcast episode. And the conclusion now. I hope this visualization of attuned learning begins to bring some new clarifications to what I find to be of paramount significance when communicating with other humans in the field of whatever cybersecurity is becoming. My next articles will continue to refer to this framework in practical approaches. So I hope you had some new insight with these diagrams and the words from the article, and I'm excited to continue with other articles and next podcast episodes as we dive into the practical aspects of this in web application security testing and recon. So if you enjoy this podcast and this episode, you may offer support through NOSTR clients, where you can zap me there, some Satoshis, or Fountain app, fountain.fm, where you can also send some Satoshis, and subscribe over YouTube or any other channels you see this on. And I'm excited about this all. So I'll see you at the meetups.